Know why you want what you want. Find out why in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. Whenever I order something at a restaurant, I feel remorse when I see what other people have ordered. Theirs always looks better than mine, and they seem to enjoy theirs more than I enjoy mine. However, when I go back to the restaurant and order what it was that I saw someone else order, I almost always wish I'd ordered what I'd ordered before. I remembered it tasting a lot better. The people of Israel were having something of the same experience. They wanted meat to eat, so God gave it to them. A lot of it. Suddenly, they didn't want meat so much. The account is found in Numbers chapter 11, beginning with verse 31. Then a wind from the Lord sprang up, and it brought quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp, about a day's journey on this side and a day's journey on the other side, around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the ground. And the people rose all that day and all night and all the next day and gathered the quail. Those who gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. While the meat was yet between their teeth, before it was consumed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people. And the Lord struck down the people with a very great plague. Therefore, the name of the place was called Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who had the craving. They wanted meat. God brought them some meat, and more meat. He blew enough quail into the camp that they gathered 10 homers at least, roughly 100 bushels each. That's a lot of meat. Way more than anyone needed. But that didn't stop them from gathering every bird in sight. 100 bushels? Who are they planning to feed with all of that meat? It's not like they could throw the extra into the freezer. Notice, they didn't have to gather all of the birds. The wording in verse 31 is complicated to translate, but it doesn't appear that the birds were dead. They were exhausted by flying in the wind, and therefore they were easy to catch. But nobody needed to catch 100 bushels of birds. They needed to gather only what they needed. The people of Israel didn't see it that way. They were going to catch every last bird. Greed is never a good idea, especially at lunchtime. Even more so when it comes to the Lord's blessings. God saw their greed and let them suffer its consequences. Their greed led to a horrific plague that killed several of them. It was a hard lesson to learn, but essential. What you want may not be what you think. Their problem was not about what they wanted, but why they wanted it. Wanting meat is a natural instinct. God wasn't angry with the people of Israel for wanting variety in their diet. He created a world filled with variety. Nothing wrong with wanting to experience it. He wasn't angry with them for asking for variety in their meals. Their desire wasn't the problem. The problem was not that they wanted meat. The problem was they didn't trust God to provide it. God showed them over and over again that He could provide. He had provided deliverance from slavery in Egypt. He had provided deliverance from the army of the Pharaoh. He had provided them with water and food in the desert. They had everything they needed and more. What they lacked was the faith to trust God would continue to provide. God had provided in the past. He would provide in the future. The fact is, we can know the very same thing. It's what makes our faith in Christ so essential. Once we understand who Jesus is, it takes our anxiety away. We're no longer worried whether or not He will provide. He has always provided, and He always will. Faith blows away the fog of this world and opens our eyes to the truth. Be careful what you want and why you want it, because now you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.